Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the base AI recap from last weekend at UFC 274. Now, I'll be honest, last weekend was probably the worst event that we've had for the AI since it was even launched into the testing phase. It was always going to happen. We were always going to have one bad event, but there were still some talking points from it. I'll pick up where it went well and obviously where it didn't go so well as well. So the first fight that I want to start with, CJ Vergara versus Kleydson Rodrigues. Now, I thought that Rodrigues was going to absolutely run through Vergara. I thought it was a good test for him, but I did think he was going to win. Now, the AI also agreed with Rodrigues as the winner as well, but it was pretty much a coin flip. So the AI was basically saying that Vergara to win was at 49.46%. So like I said, it's very, very close to that coin flip. And if you're looking at the betting line, obviously Vergara you could have had for about plus 350 at close. So what the AI was essentially doing there was saying that Rodrigues was not a bet here. The fight's going to be much closer than what the bookies and the betting lines suggest. And that's exactly what happened. It was a close fight. It was near enough a coin flip, but the value was on Vergara, and that's what the AI was pointing out. Vergara, the AI odds implied would have been plus 102 at that 49.46%. So the fact that the AI was saying that Vergara should be plus 102 and he was actually plus 350, there was plenty of value there. So even though the AI didn't get that prediction right, it said that the value was elsewhere with Vergara, and that part of it I thought was very impressive. Now, moving on to a couple of the surprise winners. So for me, it's not going to come to a surprise for a lot of people, but for me, Oliveira at 63%, I thought Justin Gaethje should have at least been that coin flip as well, but the AI was saying no. This AI seems to love Oliveira as well. It always seems to favour Oliveira in every fight, but at 63%, this has been the highest against Justin Gaethje, who I thought was the most dangerous opponent that Oliveira's faced to date. So the AI was saying that Charles Oliveira should have actually been minus 167 on the betting line. You could have had him at around minus 140 at close. So there's a couple of values. Well, there was a value spot there on the money line for Charles Oliveira. But also, like I said, the AI was very confident that Oliveira was going to win the fight. So that's great to see from the AI perspective. Now, the next one that was definitely a surprise was Macy Chiasson. The AI actually favoured her at 58%, which I thought was nuts, if I'm being honest. I thought that Dumont was going to be able to control her wherever the fight goes and just do really good work. But Chiasson, although the fight was close, although some people might have scored it differently, Chiasson did enough in that fight to win, in my opinion. And she looked great. She looked improved. She showed a different side to her game. And the AI was just on the money with it. 58% odds implied. The AI was saying that she should have been minus 138 on the betting line, but you could have got her at plus 190 at nearly 2-1. So there was so much value there. Again, another surprise winner from me. And if you wanted to take that a little bit further as well with Chiasson, the AI said at 27%, Chiasson via decision. Now at 27%, that's plus 270 on the betting line, odds implied, but you could have actually had that for plus 360. So there's not a tremendous amount of value there from the plus 270 to the plus 360, but still some value nonetheless. The AI had that Macy Chiasson fight down to a T. Now, the bad losses. So like I said, it didn't have the best event. I think it was 6 wins, 8 losses. So it was in the mid 40% here. It was bound to happen. It's been doing great since the testing phase. Coming out of the testing phase, it's done okay. We've tweaked the algorithms. The last 2 events were phenomenal, and it just had a bit of a dip on Saturday night, which is fine. It's always going to happen. But the bad losses, Godinez, Godinez, the AI said that she only had a 41% chance of winning, odds implied plus 144. That was nuts. I think that Godinez was probably the best bet that you could have had on the entire card. You know, she was dominant. She never put a foot wrong. And, you know, in my opinion, she took every round via 10-8 as well. So Godinez, that was a really bad loss from the AI, who actually favoured her opponent, but it wasn't to be. Obviously, Godinez was absolutely dominant. And the next bad loss to talk about was Gatto, Melissa Gatto. She was actually the Bayes AI underdog of the week. And the Bayes AI had her at 67%, which was the highest percentage on any fighter across the entire card. I also picked Gatto to win. I did think it was a good stylistic fight, but she played on her back a little bit too much. But odds implied at 67% is minus 203. And Tracy Cortez won that fight comfortably, 29-28. I don't think there should be any questions with that. So they're the 2 bad losses from the AI, some surprise winners, and then the loser with value, shall we say, with CJ Vergara. Bayes AI, the UFC prediction software, not quite at it last week, but I'm looking forward to next week where we should be getting back on track. It's not often that Bayes AI has a bad weekend. This was one of them. It shouldn't happen again next week. We'll see though. We'll be back for another recap on our YouTube channel under the Bayes AI playlist next week. Once again, thanks for listening. I'm Newsome, and we'll see you again next week.